I have a bit of an odd issue currently. I want to not just play, but run a more serious campaign when I begin DMing. However, I just don't think I can trust myself to contribute to that atmosphere due to a reason I'll get to in a moment. Suffice it to say, though, I feel like it would be hysterical of me to restrict others when I can't even contain myself. Now, the root of my issue is I've been part of a D&D group for a while where we laugh a bunch and get up to a bunch of stupid antics. As a result, I unknowingly developed a behavior where I laugh whenever I'm getting nervous during roleplay, and I'm trying to push through the scene or buy time. Oh, crap. Hey, bro, is this you? Sounds like you. It happens when I'm just trying to push through the scene or buy time. Since most of the time, it was something that was in some way funny, by the end, I could disguise it somewhat, but unfortunately, it now slips out in other groups. I didn't even notice it until I was in the campaign that had me expecting to be the party face, playing a stoic character. And the DM asked if someone was under the table tickling my feet because I was laughing here and there during scenes where it made no sense. Son, we are prepared to offer you some consolation as you go to the gods on your day of reckoning. I ask that you pray for mercy, pray for absolution, resolution, so that your life may... What? Are you laughing? This is no laughing matter, son!
Look, I'm really sorry. I just, when I get nervous, I start laughing, and I'm about to die. So I just, it's not really something I want to do.
Since then, I've become super self-conscious about it. I play exclusively online, if that matters. It does. Push to talk. It's a magnificent thing, bro. Saves my group a lot of trouble. Just recently came across your channel and I love your RPG horror stories. I like listening to them in the background while I do chores or play cozy games. Mine isn't necessarily a horror story and more of a problem player. That's a horror story! That is the definition of a... Seriously, we are seriously stretching what not a horror story means, y'all. I apologize for the really long story, so here we go. This happened a few days ago after my D&D group, which consists of me, my DM, the DM's girlfriend, who we'll call D, a neutral friend, we'll call him Nate, and our newest addition, we'll call him Sam, finished our first full campaign. My dungeon master had an idea to make a homebrew campaign that was loosely based off a children's television show and wanted to experiment. Most of our group said yes, except for Nate, which we were okay with, but the DM wanted a few more people, so he recruited Felix and Rebecca, two people who had played D&D with before. My character was a young dragon student who had the intelligence of a rock. Definitely balances out the benefit of being a frickin' dragon! I rolled pretty low on her stats. Dee and Sam were playing a married couple who ran a bakery and were both sorcerers. Rebecca played a bard who was on a personal mission to find inspiration, and Felix played a griffin soldier who held high honor. Before we began our session, the Dungeon Master explicitly told us that he had made it very hard for our characters to die. In his own words, it was impossible. I don't remember the specifics, but he did mention that once a character dies, they're given a bleeding out hit point that drains very, very slowly. So there's ample time for a party member to come get you. First session goes by and everything is going pretty well. We were given a mission to find a missing person by the Queen, and we were sent along on our journey. We interact with NPCs, we had a few laughs, and made good progress on our mission. The second session comes, the party eventually finds that the missing person was last seen near a dark cave, where evil creatures lived. As we make our way there, Felix's character finds a trove of weapons, a longsword, a grenade launcher, and a few sticks of dynamite. What kind of world are we in? Destiny? I mean, I wouldn't be complaining. Kind of like how an alcoholic wouldn't be complaining about getting his hands on it. We also find some grenades in one of the abandoned towns that the party passed through. This is important. We arrive at the cave and have my character go scope out the place under the guise of, ooh, I see pretty rocks inside. And she runs in. She doesn't find the missing person, but does find the evil creatures dead. Instead of sneaking back out, I rolled low on stealth, she shouts back to the entrance of the cave about the creatures. In response, Felix has his character throw an active grenade down the cave to kill the creatures, completely disregarding that my character is still inside. D catches onto that and rolls an ability check to teleport my creature out of the cave, which saves me. D then reprimands Felix for almost killing my character, and he shrugs it off by saying, "We need to get rid of the threat, so I threw a grenade. She's a dragon, so she'll be fine." Which is honestly, dude, that's kind of real. Like, if you're a dragon and you're dying to a grenade, skill issue. This was a bit off-putting, but hey, no harm, no foul, right? Wrong. We end up finding the missing person in another dark cave, and we head back to the kingdom. At one point, the party is passing through another abandoned city, and my character hears what she thinks is a person in pain. She pulls away from the party to go help, but finds herself in combat with a zombie. After the cave incident, Sam and his familiar watch over my character to make sure I don't get in any trouble. It tells Sam what's happening, and the party immediately rushes over to help. However, before Dee and Sam can do anything, Felix immediately asks if he can use his grenade launcher. The DM asks him to roll for initiative and attack. Then Felix rolls a nat 20 for both. Felix shoots the grenade launcher, and the DM does the math how much damage it does to my character. 180 points of fire damage reduced to 150 because of fire resistance, which is not how fire resistance works. Should be half. 100 points of force damage, 120 points of bludgeoning damage, and because Felix is a soldier, he had plus 10 advantage to any attacks he dealt, which is the DM's rule. I asked if I could dodge, but because the onslaught of attacks from the zombie, my character was pinned. The DM announced in shock that my character dies from the blast. What do you mean in shock? That's 200 some damage, dude! During this, Felix is laughing about how much damage his grenade launcher did, and I'm sitting there staring at my screen in shock. Dee and Sam and Rebecca are trying their hardest to find a way to save my character, and as they're looking to do this, they're also reprimanding Felix both in and out of game. Felix still laughing and trying to play it off his joke, like, "Oh damn, I'm clearly not a good person." At that point, I snapped out of the shock, yelling at him for nuking my character and demanding an apology. He had other options to help out my character, but chose the one that deliberately killed me. He then said, "Well, I didn't know it would do that much damage. The DM let me have it, so you should blame the DM." To which the DM says, "I didn't think you would use it on a player. I only let you have it because you kept interrupting the session when it was other people's turns, and you're the one who bought it, so you knew how much damage it was going to be." Bro, someone is being disruptive during the game, and you gave them a grenade launcher? What are you, stupid? Felix got reprimanded again, and in response said, "Should I even be here? Why am I here if you guys are gonna gang up on me like this?" That got Rebecca feeling bad. She started to defuse the situation by comforting him. I left the call at that point because I was so angry he didn't even apologize. Thankfully, before the session ended, Dee and Sam were able to save my character and rush her to the infirmary according to Dee. After that crap show of a session, at least 4 days before, I got a half-assed apology from Felix in our Discord server, to which I just ignored it. The DM ended up dropping the campaign entirely because Felix kept spamming the server and his private messages asking when the next session was. Man, I think the real RPG horror story here is how much of a mess these home game rules are. What the hell is going on here? But look, the point is, every game is very different. Some people would find mine completely unrecognizable, but still, dang. A grenade launcher that deals that much damage should not be in the hands of a player. What are you doing? Look, as a Helldivers fan, friendly fire is really funny when it's A, not a serious game, or B, you can respawn. Outside of those situations, it is extremely annoying and discouraging. I did an entire video about a Critical Role episode that I found really weird because the DM at the time, she pushed a player into a friendly fire situation by changing how a spell worked, and that really rubbed me the wrong way because even if the other players at the table weren't overtly upset, I thought it was a bad example to set because, like I said earlier, it is irritating to have friendly fire. Here, the DM isn't facilitating it actively, but they are kind of a passive bystander, giving a player the tools to do this intentionally, and that is way more annoying. I'm really tired of kids' books being so bleh. I want my kids to experience color and character and dinosaurs. Where can I find something like that? Well, thank God for Dino Tunes. Today's video is sponsored by Dino Tunes, an adorable children's book illustrated by an independent author and artist. This is obviously pretty different from what I normally sponsor, but I'm happy with that because if I want to feature anything on this channel, I want to feature a queer-friendly, adorable children's book with dinosaurs. I mean, that's just the best part. Look, the first key to a good life is having a good childhood. If you want to instill any values in your kid, acceptance, love, kindness, those are values I want people to have. These adorable books have that in spades. On top of that, the art is just gorgeous. I mean, look at this adorable ceratopsian. Nothing bad can happen to him, I swear to God. And hey, for Pride Month, you get 30% off with code PRIDE25. Also, with a mention of me when contacting for commissions, you get 15% off custom artwork. If you guys are interested, you can head down into the description down below or to the pinned comment where you can pick up Dino Tunes. I will also have a link to the creator's Patreon where you get access to adorable animated content. Thank you so much to Dino Tunes for sponsoring today's episode. As always, supporting our sponsors does support us. Without further ado, I'm going to turn back to an animated rat so that we can get back to the video. I saw an LFG post in a popular unofficial D&D Discord server. The game was for the infamous Curse of Strahd. Oh my god!
It's time to stop!
It was advertised as 2 sessions a week for approximately 3 to 4 hours a session. This was a returning post, although I wouldn't realize that until later. And honestly, the flags were there from the start, but I was hoping I was overreacting. The DM decides to interview me, I think on a Wednesday. I thought it all went fine. The DM explained that 2 players have been dropped due to their lack of participation or involvement in the game, even though they had presented themselves as seasoned D&D players and had done little to interact with the players or game at all. In hindsight, as you will see later, I don't think the problem was them. After this interview, he left me access to the Discord server, and I interacted with the other members fine. And honestly, I have no problem with them, even if certain parts of their interactions leave me with pause. What I know so far is the party is still in the Death House. So the Dungeon Master had plans, red flag, for the 2 player characters that had dropped. I noticed more mentions of these player characters by the other server members every now and again too. I start checking the server content and I begin to see a lot of homebrew systems and lore dumps, red flag 2. All of the original players are just newbies to this game. A follow-up interview happens on Friday, and I'm told that my interaction with the group has been good, and the other people seem to really enjoy my presence. Not to brag, but I know I'm a delight to be with, bro. Dang.
A real star never lets any other star dim its light.
Wow. Wait, I'm so confused.
Love the self-confidence. I know I need to work on my microphone issues because this is a roleplay heavy game and the DM doesn't like the quality of my current setup. I admit, the one I had issues with receiving audio, so I was looking to get a proper headset. And that he was also aware that he's putting a lot of lore and information out there that no one would be able to digest in this session, so he expected me to read stuff thoroughly afterwards to keep consistency. Red flag number 3, giving the players a lot of homework. On Saturday, he finally confirms that I had made the cut. He made it sound like I was part of the Bachelorette. It has been a long journey for everyone here, and I have chosen to present the final rose to Crispy number 7. I never expected to get the rose from Crispy number 3. It really blew me away. It showed me that we really have a connection. Thank you so much. This means everything. You have been selected for the most dog shit D&D game of all time. Wait, what? He also begins to push me for a character to play because he wants to add specific secrets and items to my character. So I had 2 days to figure out character, learned a specific online sheet website he wanted me to use, a specific VTT he wanted me to use, which yes, I can do that. He also tells me edition doesn't matter. It can be 5th edition 2014 or 2024, or just mix and match as I want. Okay, I went with the standard paladin celestial warlock. Someone who wanted to make things better for the people he could, by either sword or spell, even if they felt he could do better if only he were stronger. Monday comes along, character done, backstory done, sheet and VTT done. You forgot something, the DM says. If you mean the backstory, I have it on the sheet, or did you mean something else? The item. Oh, yeah, I added it to my backstory, but didn't know you wanted it to be like an actual item in my inventory. I guess I could put it in now. Game time starts, so we're all there. No new session 0, major red flag number 4, and now I know we have 3 brand new players as well as 3 of the old players. The DM at no time had introduced us properly, so I didn't know the new people and the old ones only because I decided to interact with them early on. The game begins. We log into the VTT. I am faced with a black screen. Because you're not there. You're going to be introduced later. Awesome. Get a freaking screensaver!
Welcome to the incredible world of Dungeons and Dragons!
Is this it?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that's a minor red flag number 5, but okay, at least it's just me and the 2 other guys experiencing that. 1 hour into the session, apparently the old group got split up and it was 2 players role-playing while the DM made constant mocking and pot shots at the player characters of the people that left. 2 hours in, the same 2 players are doing their basically one-on-one session, the DM chiming in every now and then with a quip or a mockery act taken by the other player characters. 3 hours in, the other player finally joins the conversation. So 3 hours, we're not able to look at the map, we're not able to talk, we're just twiddling our thumbs doing nothing. Are we even going to show up today? We are 3 hours in a 3 to 4 hour game after all. After 3.5 hours, the new players and I are talking through DMs that this is unacceptable. I have had it. I stop the game for a moment and tell them that this was really rude to have us waiting here for over 3 hours with nothing to do and to not even let us look at a map. The players who are playing had spent a good 10 to 20 minutes talking about a wooden wall and its apparent thickness on the map. I told them I wish them the best, but this is not appropriate. I end the call right there and leave the server. Later I found out 1 or more of the new players lectured the DM for a couple minutes, but the DM brushed aside with, I can't dictate what the players do. If they don't find a way, I have no recourse to make them go to you sooner. Bro, is it so hard to have some people on the side of the road go, hey, I want to join you? Like, really? So one of the new players stayed, later found out the session lasted 6 hours, 12 hours in between 2 days every week. This was session 5. They'd only just reached the attic of the death house, which was also apparently the deadlier reloaded version. And apparently the dungeon master gloated. He had run Curse of Strahd several times during the 3 hours he constantly appeared to not know which room or scene was supposed to be about. I later apologized to the remaining old players in private for having them stop their session for a moment. Never heard back from the DM, which is just all well and good, really. Am I the a-hole? Most definitely. Bad table etiquette is still a bad etiquette, but I'm glad I only suffered through 3 hours of this. The one player who remained stayed for about 2 or 3 more sessions, but was dropped for reasons I don't know about. I wish the session was shorter, but it seemed no Curse of Strahd story ends up being short. Enjoy the read, Crispy. It only cost me 3 hours. Bro, come on. This borders on Am I the Angel? Drum roll, please. Not the a-hole, obviously. So, yes, you're right that your table etiquette was probably not the best. You did interrupt the session and you did cause disruption. But if you're going to disrupt the session for anything, not being able to play and staring at a black screen for hours is a pretty valid reason to want to disrupt the session. I understand that you're not going to be on screen 24/7, so to speak. Characters get spotlight, characters step out of the spotlight. But 3 hours of nothing is downright unacceptable. I wouldn't give a crap if you were playing Helldivers 2 in the middle of the damn game. That's what I would be doing. What else am I supposed to be doing? Staring at the screen? Look, I do think you should be attentive when you're not actively in the story and listen to what other players are doing. I think that's respectful. But when you're kicked out for this long, I understand losing a good deal of patience. We had just started a new Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Fresh faces, mostly new players, and a newly minted Dungeon Master hosting his first ever game. I offered up my apartment for sessions, and as we built the group through Facebook and online meetups, we slowly filled out our table 1 player at a time. Normally we vetted people thoroughly, but not this time. I can already see what's about to happen. The math is mathing too soon. The campaign was off to a rocky yet endearing start. The DM admitted about an hour into the session that this was his first game ever. That made for a lot of hiccups, linear storytelling, awkward pacing, house-ruled mechanics on the fly, all easy to forgive. Everyone was learning, we were there having fun, we weren't trying to run the perfect module. But then came Spider Queen. A player with little engagement, Spider Queen consistently failed to learn the rules, consider her character's motivations, or even participate meaningfully within the group, despite the DM's best efforts, often inventing spells on the spot just to validate her input. Wait, did he let her just Minecraft cheat code her way through the game? Seriously, what does that even look like? The table just grew quiet, eye contact disappeared, engagement faded. Eventually, more of our players left, frustrated by the wing it till it's interesting approach. That departure hit hard, prompting the DM to scrap the game entirely and start fresh. Spider Queen was quietly dropped, and plans were made for a cleaner, more structured campaign. But now that the group had shrunk, and our DM wanted to fill the empty seats, that's when Sir Knight entered. We found him through a Facebook post, which is always promising. The guy's energy was infectious. His character concept, a valiant paladin who sought justice at all costs, was a little tropey, but honestly, that's just what we needed to revive the group's vibe. He mentioned he was blind, which was a new experience for all of us, but we were excited to make the game inclusive and comfortable for everyone. After all, D&D should be for everyone. Game day arrived, the table was set, dice were out, Sir Knight arrived and set up beside the DM for convenience. We all chatted about minis, books, weekend plans. He fit in effortlessly. He might have been a teacher or worked in a library. The details are a bit fuzzy now, all things considered. Once the game began, though, things took a turn. Sir Knight roleplays Paladin like a stage actor in a courtroom drama, bellowing declarations of justice, interrupting scenes with unsolicited sermons, and forcing the party into moral decisions without any discussion. He oversteered the narrative at every opportunity, disregarding collaboration and leading hard into solo theatrics.
Okay, sir. You have been tasked with killing a bandit, Captain. How would you like to—
Yes, but by what right do you verily take claim to this moral quandary of yours? How do you prove the innocence of this creature that you so happily want to kill?
Dude,
How do
those
you
words strung together
manage
don't
the
exactly
intricacies
mean,
of the morality within this
anything. Are you
situation?
Which is no laughing matter at all, sir. I think we should handle things with justice and integrity. A principle by— Are you gonna talk like that the whole time?
Yes.
Okay.
Within the hour, phones began to emerge under the table. Eyes were rolled. Eventually, the DM wrapped the session early. Everyone left in a hurry. Only he and I remained, exchanging a mutual, "What the hell was that?" Still looking to preserve the campaign, we returned to the Facebook group to start scouting replacements again. That's when we found a post that made our blood run cold. Someone had commented about a blind player matching Sir Knight's exact description who had been in an online Discord campaign. According to them, this man had sent another player death threats and deeply disturbing, obsessive messages after being politely rejected. He had allegedly stalked this person virtually and made terrifying comments about them in real life. Horrified, we dove deeper. Dozens of people had replied, sharing eerily similar stories. Accounts of stalking, predatory behavior, rage-fueled messages, and threats. Some said he showed up to spaces outside the game. The tone was always the same. We gave him a chance, and we regretted it. Bro is a real-life creepypasta! We had skipped our usual meet in public first policy because of naivete, maybe? Maybe because we didn't see the red flags. Maybe subconsciously we assumed someone with a disability couldn't be a quote-unquote threat. That was a mistake. But we had invited this man into our home already. It's where our children sleep, where our friends come and go, in an apartment with unreliable security and little margin for danger. Needless to say, we cut contact immediately, letting him know we were moving on from the game. The tension in our home didn't cease for a while after that. We've long since moved on. Our current game is a wholesome group of coworkers, and I no longer use Facebook to find players, but the experience stuck with me. If you take anything from this, vet your players, always. No matter how someone presents themselves, you never truly know who you're inviting into your home until it's too late. The world is wide, and not everyone deserves a seat at your gaming table. Damn right. This is really awful. Look, people with disabilities, like blindness, for example, they deserve love, empathy, care, and acceptance. If you can make your game accessible, I think you should. But they also don't deserve to be absolved of their crimes. I'm not saying this man has actually been convicted of any crimes at all, but I am saying that this is definitely creepy behavior that would give people pause. It's funny because in the aftermath of the critical failure episode on Jeremy, the dude obsessed with Ryan Nakaba, I got a lot of comments from people in his area saying, yeah, this guy's a local legend for being a real terrible player. Nothing this bad, but it shows that your local community does talk. We're so used to the worldwide internet, we forget that people just talk neighborhood to neighborhood, and that has an effect. Sometimes it might really be worth paying attention to. Hey, that's a wrap. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, then please do leave the comment, Super Stalker, to let me know you made it all the way here. Oh, and if you want to see more of our content, then you can check out this video where we talked about a guy who had a real problem with asexuality. It's linked up in the cards. But before you go, please do leave a like on this one, subscribe to Crispy's Tavern so you don't miss any of our content as it comes out. And finally, if you want to get access to exclusive homebrew content, Discord, and vlogs, you can head over to our Patreon so you can directly support the channel. In essence, like, comment, subscribe, support. I'll see you all next time. Farewell.
That smelled like shit, bro.